Hi, and welcome to Plugged In. And thanks for joining the Kidney Foundation's Plugged In show as we celebrate Kidney Health Month. And this March, the focus is on prevention and being kidney smart. Well, BC Renal guest Gloria joins us in the studio to talk about how BC Renal serves the kidney community, plus talks about a kidney self-assessment test that you need to know about. Then meet Karen, manager of the renal program at BGH Dialysis Unit. She and her team are on the front lines administering care to dialysis patients at BGH. And test your kidney IQ with our kidney quiz. So stay with us because it's all coming up next, right here on Plugged In.
So I have a very special guest in studio with us today, Gloria Freeborn, the Director of Strategic Initiatives and Development with BC Renal. So welcome, Gloria.
Thank you for having me.
So maybe we could start off and just, talk high level about BC Renal and its role, its mandate. I know it's really kind of the driving force of kidney care here in BC, and there's so much that BC Renal does. So maybe you could just give us kind of in a nutshell, what's the role, the mandate?
What do we do?
Who are you?
I like to think of or describe BC Renal as the hub for a network of care providers across the province, so in all the different health authorities around BC. Some of our essential mandate, our essential role is to plan and fund care delivery in the province to ensure that everybody has access to equitable care wherever they might be. We develop standards and guidelines to ensure best practices for kidney patients. We also measure and report both at the patient level and the system level to ensure that we're always improving care and doing what we can and showing evidence that we're improving outcomes for patients and their experience of care. We support research and quality improvement and knowledge translation and education. And we also have, in more recent years, been working to increase public awareness of kidney disease and kidney health promotion.
Well, that's a huge mandate. And one of the things that we do know about BC Renal is that it's received national and international recognition in terms of the model of care that BC Renal provides to patients here in BC. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I mean, I think foundationally, the key principle for us since we developed in 1997 has been equitable access to care. So the idea that no matter where you are in the province, whether you're in the Lower Mainland, you're up in the north, you're on the island, you have access to the same kinds of services, the same quality of services. So that's been key, and our ability to do that has been our ability to work as a network and with one voice to the Ministry of Health in our planning, to ensure that we have the funding required, to ensure that we have the information systems that will not only drive patient care on a day-to-day basis, but also support improvement over time and our ability to measure and evaluate, are we actually, what we're doing, is it actually making a difference for people? And if not, let's course correct and do something different. And working as I said, as one big team. So, we have nurses and doctors and dietitians around the province who sit on our provincial committees and help drive some of those standards of practice and guidelines and whatnot, and also help support development of patient materials so that we can provide the education to patients so that they can get more involved in their own care and know how they can best support their own better health outcomes.
Among the many accomplishments that BC Renal has on its list, I know the medication, having access to fully funded medications is something that BC Renal is really a leader in across the country.
Absolutely, and so as I said, we're talking about working together as one team, as one voice to ensure that all the elements of care are there, and we believe that medications are a big part of that piece. And so we've developed what we call pharmacy formulary. So all the essential medications that we deem to be important for the delivery of care are fully funded, and we're the only jurisdiction in the country that provides that level of support for patients, so they don't have to worry about whether their extended health can provide it, or if they're not able to have an extended health program, that they know that they have access to the medications that they need. And that's a continually evolving world where we have pharmacists and other care team members from around the province who work together to assess and evaluate what medications are essential. And we can actually, through our provincial database, which I mentioned earlier, we can actually evaluate the efficacy of those medications and make changes as we go. So that's certainly one of the things that we're most proud of.
Hi, and thanks for joining me on Did You Know? Did you know that you could lose 80% of your kidney function before you notice any symptoms? Early diagnosis is critical, and in fact, your life may depend upon it. Because if your kidneys fail, you'll need regular dialysis treatments or a kidney transplant to stay alive. But the good news is, if the disease is diagnosed early enough, it can be slowed down and sometimes even stopped through medication and changes to your lifestyle. So it's critical for you to know if you are at risk. And here are some of the risk factors to be aware of. You may have kidney disease if you have type 1 or type 2 diabetes, if you have high blood pressure, heart disease, a family history of kidney disease, or if you have an ethnic background that is Asian, South Asian, Aboriginal, or African. If you exhibit any of these risk factors, please ask your doctor for an eGFR test, and that will measure the level of your kidney function. And now you know.
So Karen, we're here at the BGH Dialysis Unit, and it's a pretty big place. Can you talk a little bit about what happens here and how many patients are actually served through this unit on a weekly basis?
Sure. So we have 44 stations here, so that would accommodate about 250 people. What they do is we have 3 shifts a day, 5-hour shifts. So a group comes in at 7, another group comes in at noon, another group comes at 5. So there's 40 people coming in and out 3 times a day. They stay about 5 hours for their treatment, and then they go home and they come back 2 days later.
Wow, so this, I understand too, when there's a shift change, it's sort of a well-orchestrated undertaking.
Well, we have 40 people leaving and 40 people coming in, so there's a lot of activity. It's very, very busy. And then there's a period where people are just dialyzing and we're monitoring them, but it's a bit quieter.
I want to talk a little bit about dialysis itself. The quality of life is certainly impacted when someone undergoes dialysis. Can you talk a little bit about that and perhaps some of the side effects from dialysis?
Sure. So if you had kidney function that was normal, your kidneys would be cleaning your blood and eliminating any fluids about 24 hours a day. And what we're doing is replacing that with 12 hours a week. So what happens is whatever you eat and drink sits in your body, stays in your body until you hook up to the machine, and then we take it off. And we're taking it off in about 4 hours, so that takes a toll on your body. And so people come feeling maybe unwell, they leave often feeling unwell, and it's the day off that they recover. So it's got a huge impact on lifestyle. I think it's got a huge impact on energy, and I think it has got other parts of it that you have to limit what you drink and eat. You've got some medications you have to take. It's not an easy treatment for anybody. Some people do well, some people don't.
And as I said, we're here at VGH, and I think one of the other things people don't often realize is that there are patients that come in here to do their dialysis and then they go back home. But there are a lot of patients here that are actually in VGH themselves. And is that because they are too sick to be at home, or do they have other complications?
So there's 2 types. There's people who are on dialysis that get sick and they need a hospitalization for some other reason. And then there's people that got sick and then their kidneys failed or got injured, and so we keep them dialyzed until their kidney function returns. So there's some very, very sick people here, and then there's people who are on dialysis as an outpatient, so they come from home.
So, I mean, as we said before, there's no cure for kidney disease at this point, and a transplant is often a person's best hope for a better quality of life. But if we flip it around and we think about on the prevention side of things, I think one of the questions is, how do we keep our kidneys as healthy as possible so we don't get ourselves in the situation where we are having to do dialysis, or if we do, we can delay it as long as possible?
So I think that's the key message for everyone in the public to know, that there's a couple of things that really hurt your kidneys, and one is diabetes, the other is high blood pressure. And if you take care of those issues by keeping your blood sugar stable and by keeping your blood pressure low, then you can prevent this illness from progressing. Now, everybody, as we age, our kidneys decline a little bit, but a lot of people can function with that just fine. The key is to live a healthy life. If you have those conditions, it's so preventable, and we don't want you to be on dialysis. It's not a great life. So do what you can to preserve your function. That will help the most.
So the key, Karen, is really, lead a healthy lifestyle and know the risk factors for kidney disease, and get the test, get screened if you are at risk for kidney disease.
Yeah, so if you have blood work drawn in BC, it'll actually identify if you've got any kidney problems. So really pay attention to that if your doctor is saying you've got some kidney impact, because that's the best thing we can do to prevent things from happening, getting worse early on. It's preventable.
Karen, I want to thank you so much for taking the time today. I know you're very, very busy here at running this very large dialysis unit here at BGH, but I want to thank you for sharing this important information, particularly as we head into Kidney Health Month.
My pleasure, and thank you for all you do for our population of patients. Thanks.
One of the other points I wanted to touch on too is the focus that you've had on early detection and the prevention piece. And we were talking earlier about the number of how it's brought down over year after year, the growth in number of patients on dialysis. Mm-hmm. So do you want to talk just a little bit about where we are at with that today? Because you were mentioning sort of a very high number, 16% or something years ago, and where it sits now.
Yeah, when before we developed the BC Renal Agency, we were at about 16% growth a year. So every year there was an additional 16% of patients who were requiring life support dialysis services. And through our early intervention, through our provincial lab strategy to ensure that we have standardized testing for kidney function across the province, a standardized understanding amongst physicians, and referral processes to nephrologists and to kidney care teams. We've set up provincial clinics around the province so that people have access to a full team that can support them with their kidney disease. We've been able to reduce that growth from, like I said, about 16% to, it varies, but it's probably about 3 to 5% per year. So that's a huge impact on patients' lives. If you can maintain your kidney function and not require dialysis to stay alive or a transplant, huge impact on quality of life, on your day-to-day experience, and your lifespan, basically.
So BC Renal has a wealth of resources online that I think would be of real interest to kidney patients, to caregivers, to anyone that's in the kidney network. You mentioned that there are a number of video resources through your YouTube channel. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so over time, many of our materials are print materials, mm-hmm. but we also have a whole host of videos that people can access through our YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and then look for BC Renal Agency, then you can find a bunch of materials. We have step-by-step training videos for peritoneal dialysis. We have a whole host of what's called modality options videos. So it takes people through each of the types of treatments for kidney disease, and especially for people who are at the point of making a decision about dialysis care, it's actually really helpful. It includes interviews with patients and can really help guide people through their decision-making process as they go.
What I love when, Gloria, as you've talked about this, I just envision, the patients in the center of this hub, and all around them are, experts in their areas that are helping the patient, empowering the patient along their journey here.
It's funny you should say that, because I've been with the renal agency now for quite a few years, more probably longer than I want to admit, but when we developed our organizational structure document, it was very different for the time. So the patients were literally at the center of the chart, and then we had they live in their health authority, so they live somewhere geographically, and then we have the renal agency around that, and then of course all the other structures, the PHSA, the ministry, and other structures that are ultimately to support the patient. So the focus is always on the patient, and everything that we do, is it in the best interest of the patient, and if not, how are we going to shift that so that we can make that the case.
And I think, so much of what we've talked about today, the tools, the resources, again, all to help empower the patient along their journey, so that, they're feeling that they're part of this, and they've got some of the knowledge and expertise even to have those discussions with their healthcare provider.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Gloria, this is so great. I've got more questions, though, that I want to ask you. So I want to come back in just a few minutes. Will you hang tight with us?
Absolutely, yes.
Great. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Kidney Quiz. Why not play along with us and test your knowledge about everything kidney? Ready, set. Here's question number 1. If you have kidney disease, you'll know it. True or false? That's false. Kidney disease is a silent disease with virtually no symptoms in its early stages. A person can lose 80% of their kidney function and not know it. And some symptoms like tiredness or loss of appetite, those can be mistaken for something less serious. Question number 2. The kidneys filter 1 liter of blood every minute. True or false? If you said true, you were right. Your kidneys filter all of your blood 400 times every single day. Ready for question number 3? Here goes. If your kidneys fail, you need to go on dialysis or get a transplant to live. Is that true or false? It's true. Your kidneys are vital organs, and if they fail, something has to do that work in order for you to live. And question number 4. Kidney disease is a rare condition. True or false? If you said false, you were right. Believe it or not, 1 in 10 Canadians has some degree of kidney disease, and it's one of the fastest growing illnesses in BC and the Yukon. And that's a wrap for the Kidney Quiz. Thanks for playing along. Now, stay tuned to the end of the show, because we've got a Kidney Quiz contest where you can win a $50 gift card. Good luck!
So we're back with Gloria, and we're going to talk about the kidney health self-assessment. And I think the key word here that you wanted to bring up is health.
Yes, so I think we really want to focus in on promoting kidney health. How can people ensure that they're supporting their own kidney health, that they're aware if they're at risk, and if they are at risk, how they can ensure that they maintain their kidney health over time, as opposed to being disease-focused. Our system has often been really disease-focused and treating disease. We want to really focus in on raising awareness and ensuring that people can support their own health.
And that brings me to another point, because another tool that BC Renal has produced, and I think this is a really good tool, it's called the Kidney Health Self-Assessment.
Yes.
Again, we'll put that information on screen. Yep. But this is a test I think you would encourage everybody to go and do.
Absolutely.
It's pretty simple.
Yes, it's quick and easy. It's 9 questions.
9 questions.
And we're talking literally yes, no. Do you have diabetes? Yes, no. Do you have high blood pressure, and are you being treated for it? Yes, no. So it's 9 simple questions, and at the end you get a readout that basically tells you either looks like you're in good shape, that you don't have to be too concerned about kidney disease, or next time you're in to see your GP, maybe just ask, should I have my kidney function tested? Or, you know, you really should make an appointment, call your GP, and let's get this evaluated. And it's a simple blood test. It's called an EGFR, and it just evaluates where your kidney function is at in terms of a percentage level, and then you can make decisions based on that. So if you have that test done and it's found that, you know, maybe your function isn't as high as it should be, there can be some additional tests done. And as I said, for those patients who ultimately are diagnosed, there's a whole system of care for them. And the earlier we can identify those people and the earlier they can get into the system of care, the better their health outcomes.
And help them to manage through, you know, lifestyle
That's right.
factors. And I think that's
it's much more impactful early on. If you make dietary changes or some medication changes early on,
you can maybe
huge impact.
Hold your kidney function numbers for
Whereas
quite
if
a
you're
while.
coming in at the end and your kidney function is already low, it's harder to recover from that.
Well, it's 2 minutes, roughly, give or take. 9 questions, and it really does, while it's not a diagnostic tool, it is a really good self-assessment, giving people some good information in terms of, you know, directing them to where maybe they want to go next. And albeit to go visit their doctor and request, we always say request the test. Kidney test, if you can't remember it, but it's called technically the
EGFR, which is a function of, we won't get into the technicalities of it, but it's very quick and easy. And I'll say also, as you do the assessment, it is quick and easy, but you can also take a bit more time throughout. There's little pop-ups, and you can learn more about, for example, with diabetes, why is diabetes a factor, high blood pressure. You can sort of learn a little bit more about those aspects of that influence kidney disease as you go through the test, or you can just quickly bomb through and answer the questions and determine what your next step needs to be.
So one thing we should mention about the kidney health assessment and encouraging people to go and take it is that you're running a special contest during Kidney Health.
Right. So throughout the month of March, everybody who completes the kidney health assessment, which is, as Deb mentioned, is quick and easy, 2 minutes, they can enter to win an Apple Watch. So at the end of the month, it's voluntary. At the end of the assessment, if you'd like to enter, you can enter in, and at the end of the month, we'll pick the winner for that. So that's
pretty cool. That's a nice prize.
Absolutely. So I don't have a kidney. I don't have
one of those either. So there you go. Don't miss that. During the month of March, you have the chance to win an Apple Watch if you go fill out the kidney health self-assessment. So thanks, Gloria, for that.
Hey British Columbia, are you ready to do the most you can do for kidney disease and organ donation? Join us at the 10th anniversary of Kidney March.
Just think about it. Just think about it.
Just think about it.
Just think about it.
Still think about it? Time to sign up, BC.
Next September. We'll see you there. Woo!
That was perfect.
So Gloria, we were talking earlier in terms of activities going on during Kidney Health Month. You brought up kind of a fun one, something called the Kidney Health Challenge. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So throughout the month of March, on our social media channels, we're promoting the Kidney Health Challenge. So every day, if you follow us on Facebook or Twitter, you get a very simple and easy kidney health tip. So something you can do to support your kidney health. So whether it's drinking water, there's some tips around stress reduction, exercise, etc. So some dietary tips as well. So we encourage everybody to take part in the Kidney Health Challenge. So you have 31 opportunities to support your kidney health throughout the month.
Oh, that's fun. Now, if somebody happens to miss them on social media, is there somewhere else that they can go and find
absolutely.
those?
Yeah, on our website, we actually have a Kidney Health Challenge booklet, and there's 2 options. There's sort of the quick and easy calendar view, and then there's a booklet that actually has additional information about each of the tips and why they're supportive of kidney health.
You guys have thought of everything. So that's been a wealth of information. Thank you so much, Gloria, for coming in today.
Well, thank you for having me.
And don't go away. Coming up next, a very special kidney video that you're sure to want to watch. It's been produced by BC Renal and the Kidney Foundation, so stay tuned.
Hey, honey, I lost the list for Jason's birthday thing. Obviously, hamburger, cakes. No, not hamburger cakes. Hamburgers and cake. And buns, sausage.
Ooh, eye candy.
Is it a full moon tonight? People are being weird. And don't forget to make the Facebook event private this time. Okay, bye.
Can you imagine losing most of something without realizing it? Over time, kidney disease can destroy up to 80% of kidney function before you notice any symptoms. Talk to your family doctor to see if you're at risk and need to be screened. It could save your life.
If you're in the Vancouver area on March 14th, come on down to Robson Square and join the Kidney Foundation and BC Renal as we celebrate World Kidney Day with the Fashion Faux Pas event of the season, where kidney patients and kidney donors will be walking the runway, but with a twist. So come and learn how you could lose 80% of your kidney function and not know it. Okay, hi everyone. It's the time in the show that you've been waiting for, especially if you were playing along with our kidney quiz contest earlier in this show, because now it's your opportunity to win a $50 gift card, just like this one, for answering one question in our kidney quiz contest. So, here goes. Earlier in the kidney quiz, we were saying that kidney disease is one of the fastest growing illnesses across BC and Canada. And we mentioned the number of Canadians that are affected by kidney disease. It was a number in 10 Canadians are affected by kidney disease. All you have to do now is send us your answer via any of our social media platforms below and be the first one to send in the correct answer, and we will have this $50 gift card on its way to you. Good luck.
Because not everybody would be completely, let's start that again. We'll start that again.
He knows us. He's an idiot. Yeah, you got some preemptive stuff there now.
Co-produced, and so be sure to watch. I don't like that, be sure to watch.
Yeah, okay. Okay, good.
Well, people, it's fluid, right?
That was perfect.
Yeah, unless it looks stupid behind my ear.